everyone, and welcome to the Founder's Chair. The Founder's Chair is the podcast where we dive deep into the life of business owners and find out what it's really truly like to run your own business. I'm your host, Lauren Brannan, and today we are joined by David Kellick, who is the founder of Gannet Golf. So Gannet is a unique pitch mark repair tool that's been designed and developed to empower any golfer. I'm probably going to get my golf terminology wrong, so I'll allow David to explain more in detail in a wee minute. Thank you so much for joining us, David.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's nice to, nice to be able to spread the word and hopefully get more golfers into golf as well. So any opportunity to do that, more people into golf, I should say. So obviously golfers are already well into golf.
Yeah, turning more people into golfers.
Obsessed. Um,
Brilliant.
um,
So
yeah.
you must have a
So
big love for golf yourself, developing such a product as this.
yes,
Can you
yeah.
tell us a wee bit about yourself and like your personal life and what it was like growing up?
Yeah. I mean, pretty standard. I grew up in the south side of Glasgow in Clarkston. My dad's a retired joiner. My mum's a retired primary school teacher. So pretty normal upbringing. Nothing too fancy. But had a good upbringing. Went to a good school, Williamwood. And I was surrounded by a lot of smart people. That whole time, I didn't even realize how good a school Williamwood was. I remember there was just so many people got five A's, and I got four A's and a B in my hires. And I didn't feel like the smartest person around, but I think in many other schools that may well have been the top, grades or
Absolutely, yeah.
whatever. But it's just I was surrounded by so many smart people, and I think that actually helped me further down the line because I could see what A players looked like a bit
Yep.
more easily because I'd seen so many that were better than me. So in terms of way back when we got a talk at Strathclyde Uni from Sir Tom Farmer, who the founder of QuickFit, he said hire people better than yourself, and I think that's something I was quite good at. It's
Yeah.
quite easy to spot people better than myself.
Been
So
ingrained in you from a young
um,
age.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's normal upbringing. I got into golf when I was about 11. I think if I'd been introduced to it younger, I would have definitely been interested in it younger. It's just that's the way it was back then. I've no idea how Rory McIlroy got into it so young because the culture of golf was like, you don't start until you're kind of 10 and until you can become an official member and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's not really a place for really young people to go. Whereas now, I think because he started at 3, and he's obviously, you know, one of the best players in the
Massive,
world.
yeah.
And Tiger Woods as well. Obviously, he was the first to start super young. Yeah, so like I think I kind of wish I'd started younger. So like my kids are already interested in golf, and they're one's not even 3 yet, and the other one is 4.5. So, and they do have a genuine interest. It's not just daddy pushing golf,
Yeah.
they are actually interested. And if they weren't interested, I wouldn't push it too much.
Yeah.
Um,
Just a little
uh, yeah.
bit.
But yeah, no, pretty normal upbringing. I got into engineering at Strathclyde. I was actually doing a talk there yesterday to students, and it was really cool actually because it's 15 years since I've been in that building on Cathedral Street, and it was very surreal, but also just so familiar.
Yeah.
Even though the building was new, it just still felt very familiar, weirdly. And then talking to a class and sort of passing on some of the things that I'd learned was really it was a nice experience actually. That's the first time I've been back to Strathclyde to do like a proper talk.
Yeah.
I've got another tomorrow as well. This is like the talk week for some reason.
Yeah.
It's never been this busy.
But that's cool being able to like experience to go back to the uni that you went to, like but on the different side of it. Like that would be I haven't been back to uni since I left. So that would
Yeah.
be quite a
Well,
cool
I'm sure you'll
experience.
get invited back at some point, and it's a cool experience actually. It is cool. And it's like because obviously um your brain is sort of trained to be the student. So when you're going in and you're not the student, you're kind of this
Yeah.
is different. It's a bit different. Um, but I hope that's enough of a background.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
absolutely.
It got
Thank
more
you so
interesting
much.
later on. I was just pretty normal. I was a prodigy at, I don't know, something. Um,
That was brilliant. So tell us a wee bit more about like your company and like about what the Gannet repair tool like actually does. So for
yeah,
people that don't really know much about golf like myself.
yeah. I'll make it like very sort of layman's terms for anyone who
Yeah.
may not be into golf. So basically, I've got one here. So this
Oh,
is
brilliant.
the Gannet pitch mark repair tool. So it's basically an automatic button release, and it's got quite a kick to it, and that was
Mm.
deliberate. I wanted to make it feel powerful, sort of like if you went camping, you're gonna take as a especially as like a say a camping enthusiast guy, right? I know. Well, yeah, they could get a piddly little knife,
Mhm.
or they could go for like a big one. Even
Yeah.
if they're going camping in like some not so fancy part of Scotland or whatever, and they've got a proper tent and everything, they're probably just going to want to take a bigger, more chunky knife.
Yeah.
Something. Golfers inherently they want the driver that hits it furthest.
Well,
Uh,
yeah,
if
absolutely.
they're smart as well, which to be fair is getting more like that, then they'll go for one that doesn't spray the ball everywhere and gets
Mm.
distance, but it's kind of want a driver that hits it further. You want a car that goes faster, all these things. So I designed it with that in mind. So it's very sort of robust, CNC milled. So it's like blocks of aluminium it's carved out of. And then the fork is laser cut stainless steel, but it's a special type of stainless steel that's only found it's mostly found in high end knives. So it's basically just not going to rust on you.
Right,
And
okay, yeah.
obviously out in the elements in Scotland in particular, but anywhere in the world out into the elements, say you left it in your waterproof trousers by accident or whatever, it would be fine.
You know you're not going to ruin it, yeah.
Exactly. So that was kind of the idea, just make it really robust. What is it for? Well, basically, when you are approaching the green, so say you're on the fairway, say you've been lucky enough to hit the fairway, so I've got the dog in the background.
I know
Um,
mine's just went off as well.
granddad's come around. So the yeah, basically, say you're approaching the green, so you've got a shot, maybe for argument's sake, 100 yards away, 80 meters ish, 70 meters, and you hit a nice big high shot, goes way into the air, and it lands on the green. It makes a dent, so that dent is called a pitch mark,
Okay,
and this is a pitch mark repair tool.
see.
Um, so pitch mark repair tools exist already. I've not. I've just basically improved on a concept that was sort of already around.
Yeah.
I've just done a few bigger improvements than have been done before. So, for example, I don't know to show you this, but
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
the lines with your forearm,
Okay.
that's improving ergonomics because when you push into the middle of the mark, it improves the range of motion of your wrist. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
it's quite subtle, but it just feels easier to repair a mark. The way that the fork is designed, it's tapered at the end like a bird's beak, so
Uh-huh.
it basically has minimum damage to the ground. I did it as an experiment initially, and I couldn't believe how good it actually was. Just copy a design from
Brilliant.
nature.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to do it. There's a lot of things that are kind of 2 in 1. So this goes directly behind the golf ball, and that's the exact radius of a golf ball. So it fits
See?
perfectly
Yeah.
behind there. This is a wee slidey out ball marker here. So that one slides out behind the golf ball.
Yeah, so you've got a lot.
And then there's another one on the other side as well, which you could potentially replace with um, your lucky ball marker, for example, because that's a
Yeah.
standard size. And some golfers are a bit superstitious like that. And a lucky marker from their favorite place, their favorite course. So I wanted to take that into account so they could potentially ditch that one.
And put their own
That
in.
one's kind of, you can't really replace that one with anything but something that says Gannet. But it's an alignment aid as well. It's a straight line. So yeah, I've just tried to make it like everything. And the thing that I'm most proud of is what people actually think of it. So it's
Yeah.
actually the number one rated golf accessory online.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So I've got 100% 5-star reviews on my website. And I I did have 100% five-star reviews until very recently when I got a four-star review on Amazon. And I read through the review and it was like blatantly a five-star review.
Yeah.
So it gave
It's
me full
that's so
points. So I was like,
frustrating when something like that happens because
it
the
was
person has maybe just accidentally hit the four instead of the five or something like
uh,
that. So
I don't know because at the end he was like, at the start it was like, oh, it's brilliant, what a fantastic tool, really useful, really enjoy using it. It feels very robust. And then you go through the review, and then at the end he said, could have a clip, four-star. I'm like, really, really? Is a clip worth a star? But that's my obsession with trying to get the best product for people. So anything I launch, it's got to be great. I can't really fathom launching tat. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, of
that's
course,
that's
yeah,
the that's what the competition is. Some of them are better than others. To be fair, I don't mean it's all tat, but like most of it is very cheap. It's like the cheapest they can possibly make.
yeah,
But also therefore golfers are expecting a pitch mark repair tool to be a certain price,
yeah,
which I've priced it. Well, it's currently on sale at 29.99. Um, but I want it to get to about 39.99 just because I mean it's so expensive to
worth
make,
it,
to be
yeah,
honest. The CNC milling, the laser cutting, the packaging is quite expensive as well because it's a really nice packaging that comes with it. So it's a great gift. That's the thing. It's like a nice enough thing to gift to a golfer, but it's not the kind of thing that golfers tend to buy for themselves. So this is the kind of challenge that I've got. Whereas like golfers will be all over a new driver.
yeah,
They'll be like, oh, that could I could hit it further, better putter, like Lab Golf, brilliant what they're doing, improving people's putting. So like game improvement, golfers are all over it. Accessories, yes, if it's useful to them and they see it as like indirect, maybe game improvement, but pitch mark repair tool, it's nice to have. It's kind of some people see it as an essential, but not enough as I would like. But it's a fantastic gift.
yeah,
So I need to
definitely,
communicate better in my marketing the fact that it is a really giftable object, and the person who's going to get it is going to love it. Um, but they just might not buy it for themselves.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's it.
so,
And that's a brilliant way to market, like the fact that you've kind of realised that, and that is how you're targeting. You know, that's one of the best ways to do it because they can focus your audience on kind of a different people rather than just golfers.
yeah.
Um, so like tell us a story about how the business actually came about and at what point did you think that you wanted to kind of start up your own business? Was it be just getting like fed up of using the kind of a cat like tools as you were saying?
I so basically, well, I'll maybe rewind a little bit. I will answer your question. I will, I promise. So the thing that I didn't tell you about me was I actually had a previous business as well. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I co-founded Turtle
Right,
as well. So the Turtle pillow. So that was the number one best-selling travel pillow online when I left on in the US. So I co-invented that with my business partner, and the Turtle Pillow Plus as well, just before I left in 2018. So that was my first like big business, if you
yeah,
like. Hopefully, this one will become as big, if not bigger. But the Turtle Pillow is still doing really well. Thankfully, my business partner's taken it from strength to strength. He's rebuilt it back up again after a wee bit of a hit during COVID. So Michael, he's doing fantastic stuff with Turtle. But anyway, I did that for, let me see, I left at the end of uni, so I did that for 8 years, and I left in 2018. After that, I floated about and played golf quite obsessively for like a year and a half because I didn't know what to do. Like I was kind of like I was so driven towards the purpose of Turtle, like giving people that extra sleep, but also all other cool stuff that went on. Like there was a lady sat next to me on a plane once, on my way out to China, and I could tell that the staff were like they were empathetic towards her. Something bad had happened to her,
right,
and I just happened to have like five prototypes with me in the bag as I always did. I always like to try one or two out, and have a few extra. So I gave her one of the samples that I had, one of the prototypes, and I said, "Oh, this will hopefully help you sleep," because I could see her struggling and she had that head bobbing thing
yeah,
going on.
yeah,
So
yeah. We've all been there.
so basically, she fell asleep. She woke up about 6 hours later, I mean, I didn't time it, but approximately 6 hours later. and she woke up and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much. That works really well. That's the first time I've slept since I found out my mother was dying."
Oh, wow. Right.
So I was like, "Whoa!" Like, you know, and literally, and I thought about this after, and I discussed it with her. She like got into quite a sort of big conversation with me, and like really quite heartfelt. And I think in a plane as well, something happens to your emotions when you're up high in
Yeah.
the air. Like you do get a wee bit more emotional, and there is something in that. I've seen stuff about that. And so we were like kind of like, ooh, like it was quite,
That's,
it was really upsetting.
yeah.
And I really felt for her, but the fact is that the turtle pillow had helped her
Late.
maybe spend the last moments with her mum a little bit more awake,
Yeah.
and like what's that worth?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's
it's
such a,
that sort of ripple effect impact, that sort of I had a taste of that, and I thought, oh, that's why I'm doing this.
yeah.
That's why I'm doing it. That's the reason. So when I left, all of a sudden, all of that was just gone. It was like somebody turned off a big purpose switch,
Yeah.
and it was like retirement. You know how people tend to like they retire. The word retire, I think, is very unhealthy, and I actually think people should be lining up a hobby at the very least after retirement.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
golf, golf.
And
Just as a suggestion, golfers statistically live 5 years longer in Sweden, by the way. Just saying.
there we go.
And I think possibly even more in Scotland. Who knows? Um, so yeah, like my point to this story. Yeah, so basically, how did Gannet come about? Yeah, so next part, um, I yeah, so I played lots of golf. Actually, got worse. I was practicing all
You're
the
playing too
time, and I
much.
got worse because I was practicing without purpose. I was just,
You were
and
just
to be
like
honest,
kind of doing
I
it
was
for the sake
basically
of it.
I was trying to be amazing, and it just didn't work. And there was so many reasons why it didn't work. I was basically approaching it like a complete idiot. It's like I'd forgotten everything, every principle I'd learned from my success. I hadn't translated to this at all. There was no
Yeah.
plan, there was no coach, there was no people to better me. I was just bashing balls away like an idiot. So I actually got worse. So anyway, I took the foot off the gas with that, and I decided to do something again, a business of some kind. So I took up chainsaw milling. Um, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, and 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 basically watched quite a few videos on chainsaw milling, and just became, I don't know why, it just captured my, I don't know, enthusiasm.
You're like, I
Uh,
could do this.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. So it's actually very, very, very manual. And I was going from like pencil pushing to chainsaw milling. So it was
Yeah.
not, it was a bit of an adjustment. Thankfully I was kind of young enough to make the adjustment. I was about, still about 33, I think, when I started doing that. Um, anyway, I've got 17 logs in my front garden now, all milled up. And I've got some of it is like on the to use list, and other bits I'm like, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
But the idea was I was going to mill it up and then sell it. So I started a business around that, and then I realized it was kind of like starting a whiskey company,
Yeah.
and don't get revenue for years and years and years. And actually, it looks like I'm about to make my first sale of the wood that's actually dry. Some monkey puzzle, which is very rare. It was big, big bits of monkey puzzle. A full tree came down, and someone I know wanted it milled up a good few years ago, and it's all dry and perfect and very.
Brilliant.
So they're having their kitchen tops and monkey puzzle, and I think they might well be the only kitchen
Yeah.
tops puzzle in the whole of Scotland.
I mean, that would be nice
They do
though.
that, so that'll be cool. And it is really good stuff. So very unique. So anyway, then I thought, what am I doing? So I basically sold one of my spare chainsaws because I had two for some stupid reason, and then kind of, yeah, like I thought, right, okay, I need to do something else. So I came up with the idea of a new pitch mark repair tool. Now I did. I don't know how exactly that came about, but I had been thinking about it for quite a while on and off, because it's just sort of it just seems like one of those objects that nobody's really bothered about
Mhm.
in terms of developing it. It's always been the same
Yeah.
kind of thing, or like the subtle variations that have come from the original design have just been a bit, you know, not well done. I thought I can do that, um, which is an important important thing. Like, what can you do yourself? What's a small enough thing that you can actually do it yourself was what I was looking for. Because I didn't really want to be hiring a whole team and stuff straight away. I was like, I just want to be able to do it myself and then build from that, like get a product in the market, grow the business organically, and then hire further down the line when I'm willing to put the accelerator down a bit more. But yeah, like I'm obviously super passionate about golf, and weirdly now, see, because now I'm on the golf course, not really thinking about myself or golf. I'm thinking about pitch marks all the time.
Yeah.
I'm actually much better at golf
Golf has got better.
because I'm not, yeah, way better. It's funny. I don't know. I think there just wasn't enough purpose for
Mm.
me, for my personality, in just being a golfer alone. Like there had to be something else to it. And the fact that I can make an accessory that is spreading a good feeling among the golfing community, that's really important for me. So like it's quite a small object, but say you're a good player and you're a good guy or girl. Um, guy for me is kind of gender neutral in my
Yeah,
head. So,
yeah.
anyway, some people disagree with that, but in my head, guys. That's gender. Um. So anyway, like like if you repair like three pitch marks every green, you've used the tool maybe 54 times during a round, which is more than you're going to use any of your golf clubs.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like, it needs to be good. It needs to be strong and
Yeah.
robust and be able to take a lot
Durable.
of hammering
Mhm.
because I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but gardening tools don't really last very well if you're using them a lot.
Because you're literally putting so much force into it and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you're going into like potentially quite hard ground. I mean, I repaired a couple of pitch marks in frost. It was like permafrost underneath
Yeah.
underneath the soil, like during the winter there. And I was like, oh, that's like testing again. And it didn't bend at all. I checked it afterwards and it
There we
was like
go.
rock solid. Whereas I'm pretty sure some of the other ones may have given way.
Like, yeah.
Um, or yeah, or damage the ground. So yeah, so that's that. I do have another idea in the works. And that's quite exciting. But I can't disclose that. Sorry
That's
about
okay. We'll wait and see.
that. So I've done a lot of ranting. I'll pass it back to you. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That's it's like a brilliant story actually to hear that because it just shows how ambitious and how driven that you actually are and like how much passion that you have for any business that you go into. So has there been like a specific person kind of that you would say that's pushed you or inspired you that you're like grateful for being there on your business journey?
But the two people in particular, I think Sir Tom Farmer, right back at the start when he came to Strathclyde Uni and spoke to the engineering students that day. We were doing mechanical engineering, and like Michael and I knew that mechanical engineering wasn't really our thing exactly. And we wanted to do something a bit different. We didn't know what that was until he came along and he spoke about how he started up his business, and we were totally blown away. We were so inspired. Everyone, and it was funny because it was like it was just us
Yeah,
really we were like,
like loving
whoa,
it.
and then
Yeah.
everyone else was like, like they didn't seem to care, and we were like, oh, he was amazing. Did you like? It was like they couldn't see what we saw,
Yeah,
uh, but it was just for us. It was blatantly obvious. This guy is amazing. Scotland's first billionaire. Kept that one quiet. Just an amazing, amazing guy. Seemed like a really good guy as well. So
brilliant.
we were very inspired by him. And then obviously my business partner Michael, like we were in it together at the start of Turtle. We were together for 8 years running the business. And he and I have like formed each other during that time.
Yeah.
And he's been a great influence on my life overall. So, really thankful to him, obviously. Um, yeah, and just there's quite a lot of people, but the main ones are probably are those two. There's a
Yeah,
few others that I would like to mention, but yeah, just end up talking for the whole
be here
time.
all day.
Exactly. But that was the kind of main two. And yeah, that was it. I mean, we went in Dragon's Den and stuff like that, and we did that, and it was a cool experience. We didn't get investment from it, but we did get featured in the program, which was good for
Oh,
exposure and
brilliant.
things.
So you went on
Um,
with Turtle, yeah, on Dragon's Den?
yes, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'll need to check
So
that out.
yeah, so it's back in like 2015, so 10 years ago now, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
No,
Um,
that's crazy.
but yeah, it was a great experience. It was so scary. I mean, we were so nervous before that, more nervous than pretty much anything else. But it was a cool experience. I mean, there's quite obviously quite a lot of people have been on Dragon's Den now because they're always looking for people. But it was yeah, 2 hours we were getting grilled for in there. Peter Jones was out within like a second. He was like,
Oh,
"Travel pillows don't excite me. I'm out." And we were like, "Oh, okay."
just
Um,
like that.
yeah, maybe he'd be interested in the golf product now, right enough, because he's a
Yeah.
mad golfer. He's a keen golfer. He's not a mad golfer. He's a keen golfer. Mad about golf is maybe what I should have said. So, no,
You never know.
he's
Maybe
so
you'll be
maybe
back on
he
it one day.
yeah, there was an article about him really wanting to find the next big golf business. So maybe I should just drop an email just saying hello.
Yeah.
Um,
Remember me?
yeah. Um,
Oh, brilliant.
but anyway, yeah, that's that part. I'll try not to ramble on
Oh no,
too
you're
much.
fine.
Um,
What would you say has been kind of your biggest challenge? We'll stick with Gannet, like since kind of having that business by yourself, what would you think has been the biggest challenge?
hmm. I think motivation is quite difficult um, when you're because obviously I had an exit from Turtle, so I didn't at the time technically I didn't really need to start another business that early, like that soon. I could have done some other stuff. Like there wasn't like a major financial pressure on me to succeed. So there wasn't the same hunger as when I started Turtle.
Yeah,
Like, yes, I'm ambitious, but I don't have like any major chips in my shoulder or anything like that. So, like, in terms of motivation, I'm a motivated person, but I'm not like super Elon Musk level driven.
yeah,
So for me, it was like the challenge was keeping motivated and keeping focused on the goals. And what I would do to do that, sometimes I would just go a cycle, like just
yeah.
like,
Clear your
just
head.
and just sort of go right way, okay. And especially the bits where, now it's looking up, it's looking, the fact that it's the highest rated product, golf
Brilliant,
accessory
yeah.
online, um, that's awesome. Obviously, I'd like the sales to continue to go up, and build a sustainable business from it. And then it's like navigating that how to do that. It's hard. It's really hard, and especially on your own as well. Like I used to have Michael there, bounce off constantly.
Yeah,
A decision. If we were both like, yeah, we should do this, we should do this. It was like, oh, I was so confident with that decision.
yeah, because
Whereas
you both
now
agreed
it's
on
like,
it.
I should do that. I think I should do that. Hmm.
You wish you
Yeah,
had
I think
someone
I
just
should do
to
that. Wait,
back it
there's a
up
bit
and like
more.
clarify it. Yeah.
There's a bit more hesitation to commit to a decision. So I think that, yeah, like I think decision making is a little bit trickier at times. I mean, I am a decent decision maker, but it's still just as I said, just having that double input of too confident work, or like one that's disagreeing with you, then you're like, oh, okay, ooh,
Yeah.
maybe
Getting
I
you
should
to
rethink
rethink it
that.
a little bit. Yeah.
Whereas if nobody's disagreeing with you, you could go down the wrong path, like you head first and you don't even know. So that was useful. But anyway, the point to this was, yeah, I'd say motivation. I want to spend time with my family. I've got a young family because I can spend time with them. It's kind of this is still a little bit, lifestyle businessy.
Yeah.
So like, I'm hanging out with some sort of proper entrepreneurs who are super driven. And I feel a wee I'm like, I'm a wee bit of a fraud compared to these guys now. Like back in the turtle days, I worked my backside off, but now, it's like I'm deliberately not killing
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
working hours. I'm balancing. And
That's a good
actually,
thing. Yeah.
where I've got a very clear head when it comes to that.
Hmm.
I sleep well at night.
Exactly.
Um, so there are a lot of positives, but it's like I've got like contradicting, conflicting goals. Like I want to spend a lot of quality time with my family, because I can, and then I want to grow the next great business, and make it something that not only I can be proud of, my family can be proud of, but potentially Scotland can be proud of as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, because like the Gannet brand, I think I've been incredibly lucky to come up with that name.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an existing word, so it's not like I invented the word Gannet. But I came up with it when I was at the Lighthouse at Turnberry. I was a member until last year. I'm still a member, but I'm non-playing, so I didn't
Okay.
need to pay fees basically, and I don't get to play this year. But I was at the Lighthouse with a friend, and I read out all these names that I'd come up with, and they were terrible. They were all absolutely awful, and he was being quite nice about a couple of them, but they were all absolute junk. And we were literally watching the gannets dive in the water and fly past. Because
Okay.
it's a peninsula at the lighthouse, you can see the gannets really closely. It's
Oh,
actually one of
okay,
the few
cool.
places on land that you can see them really well, because they kind of take a wee shortcut over the corner to get to the other bit of sea at Maidens. Um, and they're just a beautiful bird. Like they're kind of Concorde like in the way they're shaped. I wouldn't be surprised if Concorde was somewhat based on the look of
Yeah,
them. They are just an incredible bird, and they dive at over 100 kilometers an hour.
that's
And
amazing. Yeah.
if they don't commit to that dive, they will literally break their neck on impact. So it's like commitment in golf is a huge thing. Any golfers will know, um, that commitment is such a huge thing when you're hitting a shot. If you don't commit to it, if you kind of back out of it, it can go very
Yeah.
badly wrong. Whereas if you commit to it, it's like the best feeling when you hit a committed golf shot and it goes on
Yeah.
target. It just feels fantastic.
You kind of go
So
hand in
a
hand.
real, I felt there was tons to, the fact that the Gannet pitch mark repair tool, you're kind of diving down with that to repair
Yeah.
your
It
pitch
all
mark.
kind of ties in. Yeah.
Everything just came together. Gannet golf, there's G's in there for golf, Gannet. It just seemed to all click together very instantly, and I was like, hmm. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm gonna be able to trademark that. It's an actual word,
Yeah.
and it's a cool animal. There's no way I'm gonna be able to trademark that, but I'll check anyway. Went back to the house, saw that it was available and trademarked it within like seconds of me finding
Brilliant.
that out, because I was like, this is that like the likelihood these days is so many people on the planet who speak English
Yeah.
and you're
Like you
starting
couldn't believe that
businesses.
that had been trademarked. Yeah. Yeah.
How can that be available? So that was a real stroke of luck, I think. And the logo is fantastic. Like I said to it was Tom McCrory. I'll just name him because he's fantastic. Tom McCrory of Atom Create. He's actually got another business as well. He started up called Picastro, so you might want to interview him at some point. Um, so anyway, he he designed the logo for Gannet, and I was just totally blown away by it. Like I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like I didn't. I'm very good at visualizing the product, but for some reason, logos and stuff like that, it doesn't. That's not really how my brain
Yeah.
works. You think I'd be okay at it, but it doesn't really work like that. I don't know why. But no, he just did this work of art. And actually, I did when I did the presentation yesterday. The students immediately like they pressed the present button or whatever. The logo popped up, and they were like, "Wow, love the logo."
That's amazing. Yeah. And that
So
people remember that. So
yeah, so I'm really really happy with the logo, and I think it is world class. And I think so therefore I've got a huge opportunity, and actually a great way to put pressure on myself is to say like I've got a great opportunity here, don't waste it.
hmm
This could potentially become a great company, a big company, it could be a big employer. So it's very early stage, but I've got a responsibility now to make that happen. Within the next 5 years or so, I'd say, to just sort of start making that look like um a real company. So
yeah. Oh, well, brilliant. Well, that's us all done for today. So thank you so much, David. It was amazing to hear more about you and learn more about Gannet. And I'm sure we're going to see it just keep going up and on the rise. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. That is us for the Founders Chair until next week, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you. Bye.